Imagine a time before airplanes, before cars, even before trains. A time when the world was vast and largely unexplored, where the horizon seemed endless and full of mystery. Picture a world where the only way to reach a new land was by sailing across a vast and unforgiving ocean. The journey was long and fraught with danger, but it was the only path to a new beginning. That was the daunting journey faced by those who dared to explore and settle in early America. These pioneers were driven by a sense of adventure and the promise of a new life. These brave souls yearned for adventure. They were willing to leave everything behind for the chance to start anew in an unknown land. They craved a fresh start in a land brimming with untold promise. The maps they studied were often incomplete, filled with vast blank spaces that represented the unknown. What they found on the other side of the Atlantic was a world wholly different from the one they left behind. It was a land of immense beauty and untapped potential, but also one of great challenges. The voyage itself was perilous. The seas were unpredictable and storms could arise without warning, turning the journey into a fight for survival. Weeks, sometimes months, were spent at sea. The days were long and monotonous, filled with hard work and the constant hope of sighting land. The ships were small and cramped. Space was limited and the conditions were harsh, with little privacy and few comforts. Storms were a constant threat. The powerful waves and howling winds tested the limits of both the ships and their crews. Many perished along the way, their dreams dashed against the rocks of a distant shore. The journey claimed countless lives, leaving behind only memories and gravestones. But for those who survived, the sight of land, the shores of a vast and unknown continent, must have been breathtaking. It was a moment of triumph and relief, a reward for their perseverance. It was the start of a remarkable journey into a wild and untamed world, a world that held both great promise and great peril, waiting to be explored and settled by those brave enough to take the risk. Stepping ashore in America, the early settlers encountered a landscape unlike anything they had known in Britain. Gone were the rolling green hills, the quaint villages, and the neatly ordered fields of their homeland. In their place stretched vast forests, towering mountains, and seemingly endless plains. The sheer scale of the American wilderness was awe-inspiring. The air itself felt different, cleaner, crisper, filled with the scent of pine and damp earth. The silence of the vast forest was broken only by the calls of unfamiliar birds and the rustle of unseen creatures. Even the rivers seemed wilder, mightier, their currents surging with untamed energy. It was a land that whispered of both opportunity and danger in equal measure. For settlers accustomed to the familiar crops and plants of Britain, the New World presented a dazzling array of botanical wonders. Towering trees, unknown in Europe, stretched towards the sky. Strange and colourful flowers carpeted the forest floor in springtime. Forests teemed with unfamiliar berries and fruits, some delicious, some best avoided. The settlers soon discovered that this new land held great agricultural promise. Maize, or corn as they came to call it, thrived in the American soil. So did pumpkins, squash and beans, staples that would become central to the colonists' diet. The vastness of the land itself, free from the constraints of European land ownership, offered the tantalizing prospect of boundless harvests and newfound prosperity. The animals of North America were as different and surprising as the plants. Deer, larger than any found in England, roamed through the forests. Flocks of wild turkeys, their plumage a brilliant display of colour, foraged in the undergrowth. Squirrels, chipmunks and raccoons, creatures rarely seen in Europe, were common sights. But there were also creatures that inspired fear and awe. Bears, both black and the fearsome grizzly, roamed the wilderness. Wolves howled in the night. And in the deeper forests, panthers and catamounts, stealthy predators with piercing eyes, stalked their prey. The settlers quickly learned that in this new world, respect for nature was not just an aspiration, it was a necessity. Section 5. Trials of the Pioneers, Hardship and Hope. Life in early America was not for the faint of heart. The settlers faced a myriad of challenges that tested their resolve and spirit every single day. The journey across the ocean was just the first challenge. Many endured treacherous seas, cramped conditions, and the constant threat of illness during the voyage. Once ashore, the settlers faced the daunting task of building a new life in a wild and untamed land. They had to adapt quickly to their new environment. They cleared forests to plant crops, turning dense woodlands into fertile fields. This backbreaking labor was essential for their survival. They erected shelters from whatever materials they could find, often using rudimentary tools and techniques passed down through generations. They contended with unfamiliar weather patterns, harsh winters and scorching summers. Each season brought its own set of challenges and dangers. Disease was a constant threat. Without modern medicine, even a simple illness could become deadly. Food was often scarce, especially during the long winters. They had to ration supplies carefully to make it through the harshest months. And always there was the danger posed by wild animals, and sometimes by the native inhabitants of the land. These interactions could be unpredictable and often perilous. Yet despite the hardships, the settlers persevered. Their determination and resilience were unwavering, even in the face of overwhelming odds. They drew strength from their dreams of a better life, a life of freedom and opportunity, a life they were determined to build with their own hands. Their hope and vision for the future kept them going, inspiring them to overcome every obstacle in their path. Section 6. Encounters at the edge of the wild Native Americans and settlers. The arrival of European settlers in America brought them into contact with the native inhabitants of the land. These indigenous people, with their own ancient cultures and traditions, viewed the newcomers with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. For some settlers, the Native Americans represented potential allies, sources of knowledge about the land and its resources. Trade flourished, with furs and other goods exchanged. However, misunderstandings and mistrust often arose. Different languages, customs, and beliefs created barriers between the two groups. As more and more settlers arrived, encroaching on Native American lands and hunting grounds, tensions escalated. What began as tentative coexistence gradually gave way to conflict, casting a long shadow over the relationship between the newcomers and the original inhabitants of the land. Section 7. Breathing free in a land of promise. Despite the challenges, early America held an undeniable allure for many settlers. It was a land where, for the first time, they could own their own land, free from the constraints of European class systems. It was a land where they could worship as they pleased without fear of persecution. It was a land of boundless opportunity, where hard work and determination could lead to prosperity and a better life for their children. This spirit of freedom and self-reliance, forged in the crucible of the frontier, would become deeply ingrained in the American character. It was a spirit that valued individual initiative, hard work, and a willingness to embrace risk in pursuit of a better future. Section 8. Seeds of Discontent, the Price of Freedom. As the colonies in America grew and prospered, so too did a sense of independence from their European rulers. The vast distance between the New World and the Old fostered a sense of self-reliance and a growing belief that the colonists were capable of governing themselves. Moreover, the British government's attempts to impose taxes and regulations on the colonies without their consent fueled resentment. The seeds of discontent were sown. Colonists, accustomed to the freedoms of their new lives, chafed under what they perceived as British tyranny. They began to question the legitimacy of British rule. The cry of no taxation without representation rang out, a rallying cry for those who believed that the time had come to break free from the shackles of colonial rule. Section 9. America and Britain, two worlds apart. By the mid-18th century, America and Britain, once linked by ties of language and heritage, had become two very different worlds. The wild, untamed landscape of America had shaped a people who were independent, resourceful, and fiercely protective of their newfound freedoms. They had tasted self-governance and found it to their liking. Britain, on the other hand, remained a land of tradition and hierarchy. The British government, accustomed to the unquestioned loyalty of its subjects, failed to grasp the depth of the colonists' grievances. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation, one that would determine the fate of a continent and shape the course of history. Section 10. The enduring legacy of the wild frontier. The story of early America is a testament to the enduring human spirit, a saga of bravery, determination, and relentless pursuit of dreams. It speaks of the courage to explore the unknown, to venture into uncharted territories with nothing but hope and a vision for a better future. It highlights the resilience to overcome adversity, to face countless challenges, and still press forward. And it underscores the unwavering belief in the promise of a better life, a belief that united families and communities. This narrative is etched into the very fabric of the nation, a story that has been passed down through generations. It serves as a reminder of the hardships endured, the triumphs celebrated, and the collective spirit that built a nation. The enduring legacy of the wild frontier is one of perseverance and hope. From the vast forests to the towering mountains, the American landscape was both a challenge and an inspiration. It served as a proving ground where early settlers tested their mettle and found their strength. This rugged environment fostered a spirit of independence and self-reliance that would shape the nation's character for generations to come. And so the story of early America continues to resonate, echoing through the annals of history. It is a reminder of the enduring power of the human spirit, the ability to dream, to strive, and to achieve. The wild frontier remains an enduring symbol of the American spirit, a testament to the allure of exploration and the promise of new beginnings.